so I thought we'd take a look at this story. So Basil the Great posted this. The wives blamed those girls for what happened to them, talking about the victims of the grooming gangs. They say they tempted their husbands with their Western dress. These people cannot be assimilated into our culture. Should they be deported too? Yeah, definitely. Anybody that thinks that they or is concerned about our culture and won't assimilate and wants to change our culture to their culture, they need to be gone out of the country. I couldn't go to Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates and dictate to them how their culture should react. I'd be kicked out of the country. I'd probably be arrested, put in prison for a bit, and then deported. You're simply not allowed to do it. There are literally no countries around the world, apart from ours and certain countries in the West, that allow other people to come into their countries and dictate how their culture should be and how it should react to certain things. There's literally no other countries in the world where that would happen, except ours. And as you can say, this is what these women have been saying. The wives of the grooming gang perpetrators have actually been saying. White girls are filthy. Wives of Asian men jailed for raping vulnerable British girls revealed why they blame the victims. It's because of their ideology. Now, a lot of people just look at Islam as being a religion. It's not just a religion. It's also a political ideology as well. These are the Islamists. The Islamists is the practice of the political ideology as well. And it goes hand in hand with the religious side. And the political side is purely there to turn the host country into an Islamic state. That's its duty. You've started to see it already. You've started to see the build-up of people in our parliament that aren't concerned about their constituencies. They're talking about foreign issues, about Palestine, things like that, not about issues that face their constituents in their own in this country. They're talking about things happening in their own countries, and they will deliberately look after the interests of the Islamic population and not look after the interests of the Christian population or other people that are non-Muslims. They will always look after their own interests because this is what their ideology teaches them to do. Islam is always first in everything. And that's why these people will never assimilate into this country, because the ideology of Islam and political Islam are just not compatible with Western values, with this country's values. It's simply not compatible. And I think earlier this week, the grooming gang report, which reported that the majority of people committing these heinous crimes are Pakistani Muslims. And to me, that just proves, because for Pakistani Muslims, this in Pakistan, it's a cultural thing. That they blame their habits of sexually assaulting people on the fact that they're not dressed moderately, conservatively. That's what they blame it on. They blame it on the victims. It's the victim's fault. They weren't covered up, so I couldn't contain my own urges and impulses to go and commit this crime. So therefore, it's the victim's fault. That is not compatible with our society. It's not. That's not what we say. We put onus on the criminal. It's you. You have agency. If you go and commit a crime against another person, you are the one that's at fault, not the victim of the crime. That's what we say in this country. And that is why this Islam is just not compatible in this country. We've seen various mosques around the country teaching extremist forms of Islam. I forget where it was, but one mosque in particular was telling young Muslims that it's okay to keep slaves. It's okay to keep people as slaves because that's what the Quran says. These are values that are not compatible with British values. They're simply not. And we've had this alien ideology imported and placed upon us, and it thinks it's somehow superior to us as a culture and as a civilization. And that is simply not true. Islam is on the wrong side of history. It's backward thinking. It's not progressive. It's not fit. It will not fit into a Western secular society because it always has to dominate wherever it goes. Everywhere it goes, the culture has to adapt to how Islam wants it to be. Islam cannot cohabitate with other ideologies because it has to be the dominant ideology wherever it goes. And that's why it's not compatible. It's simply not compatible in Western societies. It's not. Anyway, this is Vindicator, signing off.